Welcome to the Awecast, where we dive deep into what makes you truly awesome. I'm your host, Dorchester Koning, founder of Awe Academy. In every episode, we explore the power of awe, not just as a feeling, but as a tool that transforms how we learn, grow, lead, live, and love. As each guest shares what sparks their curiosity and how they work with wonder, we connect with a deeper sense of awe. So, take a breath and get ready for some interpersonal magic. Welcome to the Awecast. Good morning to you, Pamela.
Good morning, Dorches.
It's lovely to see you here on the Awecast. Last time we met, we were at Fatopia at a women's leadership retreat with pleasure, or on pleasure. And I had the opportunity of getting to know you a little better and seeing the way you work. And I'm really pleased to have you on the Awecast today.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation. I'm curious of what will unfold. And it was very beautiful to spend a week together at Chateau de Fay in the Fatopia community outside of Paris in France. It was really beautiful. So,
Yeah. There's so many different things that happen and that weave the week together, you know, when the conversations you have, the walks you can do, it's a beautiful place.
yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, that question always hits me with a bit of like a perplexia.
Yeah.
Very seldom know where to start or where to end and what's important for this context
Yeah.
and what to say. I could say, I could do it very mainstream, and I could say I'm a facilitator, a mentor, a public speaker. I've done that for, plus 25 years. I have been in love with supporting people for to enhance their own leadership, both in private people, in organizations, in companies, in communities, and the red thread is that I've been able to like foresee when I've been like thinking about the future and what's needed for what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I can see now when I look back almost 30 years that I've been having some kind of capacity of like foreseeing what's coming, and in that investigating what is the leadership that is needed out of the times that are coming.
Wow.
So that I've been doing, for soon 30 years, like being able to like see and then seeing like what's the need that will come up on a systemic level, and what do I have that I can bring
Yeah.
to support what's needed. So and I feel blessed that I have been I have 25 plus years in professional in my back working with leadership on the edge, and that I still love it, and it has been highly meaningful, still are.
Yeah.
And I am based in Sweden. I work globally. I and I could also say that what I do today, even if the red thread is leadership, is not the same thing that I did 25 years ago. And at the same time, there is something that is the same, and that is to say, how can we do inner change for outer change?
Right.
How can I work with an individual and in that way affect the system we're living in? And what is
Yeah.
the system that we're living in, and how does that affect us?
Wow. I love the way you go from seeing it in a sort of a meta perspective. Where are we in this on this earth, or maybe in the universe, and then zooming in to the tiniest speck of dust, which is actually a human being, you know, going and all the way into that being. Who are we, and what are we made of, and what drives us, and what inspires us, and what gives us pleasure, and what doesn't. So I really loved when you were running the leadership week. You had no real set program. You were very open to adapting and attuning to the needs of the group, of the people that showed up that day. So even changing it day by day, and I really admire that openness. I tend to think that this has something to do with awe. So I'm wondering if this is true for you, and how did you go from your inner, how did you go into your inner work, and how does awe play a role in that?
Mm. Yeah, and maybe also say that yes, my container when I host programs or sessions today are deeply emergent,
Hmm.
and still it doesn't mean it doesn't have a clear direction. There
Right.
is like a guiding question, a guiding direction, and that direction I'm very firm to hold on to.
Yeah.
Like I'm here, and it's like I take a bow, and I there is like a arrow who goes out, and it has a destination, a direction,
Yeah.
and then there is like an invisible thread,
Hmm.
and I'm very like consistent to take us in the direction of where we're going.
Right.
And there is a sense of like minimal viable structure. You
Yeah.
can see it as riverbanks that
Yeah.
holds the river of flow.
Oh,
And from that direction point and the minimal viable structure, and there is like a minimal foundation of knowledge or science or
yeah.
wisdom that
Yeah.
I that before people leave that space that I'm creating,
Yeah.
um, I want them to be able to say, I learned at least these three things.
Yeah.
Like, why pleasure important? In what way has sensuality something to do with leadership? And how come working with pleasure has something to do to be able to lead better in complexity, for
Hmm.
example?
Yeah.
So for me that is important because I also not been in several of containers or programs where there is an emergence, but there is not a minimal viable structure, that can become too chaotic.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
is this beautiful balance between order and chaos,
Mm.
and 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 also I do work with the feminine principle, and that is to really allow us to be attuned to what's really, really here
Yeah.
and to be receptive and sensing
Hmm.
so we actually can respond to the
Yeah.
potential that's already here. That kind of facilitation style, I call it educe, and it's
Mm.
to deeply trust that there is always something between us that wants to unfold
Hmm.
if we attune to that process and allow us. And how it connects to awe for me is because it's deeply connected to surrendering
Hmm. Yeah.
for me, like to be able to be in the present moment. And for me, awe is I can't access that without being present.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
it's worked for me
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. It's not
And
imposed on you. It kind of
it's
emerges within, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like it's more relational for me.
Hmm.
Like awe for me is relational. It's something that happens when I am connected to me and something greater.
Mm.
Like and in a way here I can notice I cringe a bit from the inside because here the language for me is a bit compromised
Hmm.
because there is a distinction as me and something greater as that is separate and
Right. Yeah.
on one level it's not, and on
Mhm.
another level, on the Newtonian level, it is separate.
Yeah.
uh, so when I say it's relational, I like right now I have a window outside and I see a big lake with sun ray on the lake. There is sun, blue sky, there is trees, there is like a grass that is like recovering from the decay of winter,
Yeah.
and there is some kind of sense of sprouting in the nature. And in that relationship, when I look out, I'm like, I am hit by awe.
Yes. I can
So
see
in
it
this,
right now as
yeah,
you're
in this
explaining it.
moment, I am
Yeah.
hit by awe of like, wow,
Yeah.
a sense of like, and awe for me very often comes with wonder.
Yeah.
Like that for me, they're very connected. Of
Mhm.
like a sense of being a part of something that is greater than
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm a part of something that seems like a mystery.
Mm.
Like just the fact that I am a human being living in a short period of time on a big rock floating through space, and
Yeah.
I'm here,
Yeah.
and I have the capability of be fascinating about the colors and the sparks and what's going on. And in that moment, I'm hit by something sacred.
Mm. Yeah.
Like no matter if I want to put that sacredness into meaning making of that there is something beyond myself,
Hmm.
of a greater force or a greater connection, or however we want to speak into it. But just the fact, no matter if I am alive here and now, and that's it, I
Hmm.
come from darkness, I leave to darkness, and I'm here.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
it is. Absolutely.
And it brings a sense of aliveness through
Mm.
my body of like,
Hmm.
what do I want to do with that precious life of mine?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and how in that is also something like in Sweden. I'm from the Swedish culture. Like we have a word that is named lagom.
Hmm.
It means not too much, not too little.
Hmm.
And the best side, lagom has a shadow side as well, but the best side of lagom is that the capacity to be content.
Mm.
And for me, awe is connected to I'm here and there is nothing missing.
Mm. Everything is already here,
Yeah,
kind of a feeling. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. And do you feel like because there's a word for it in your culture and you basically grew up with that notion or that maybe um, I'm thinking of a Dutch word, I can't come up with the English one, but realizing that that is a thing, that it is a state of being, I guess, has that impacted your way of living and your aliveness as well?
No, I wouldn't say so because in Sweden the word I'm almost like repacking the word lagom
Yeah.
because lagom here means that that there is a sense of like because in the whole Scandinavian culture you have a sense of relationship to nature that I've
Mm.
understood in my traveling and interacting with people from all over the world that we are like I think you could like no matter if you speak to a Norwegian or Swedish or Danish, there is a deep connection to nature,
Hmm.
and in that there is a sense of contentment in
Right.
just being in relationship with it.
Yeah.
And lagom in the Swedish culture is really like don't be too loud, don't be too
Ah,
much,
yes.
don't tell what you have.
Don't radiate too much. Don't show your true colors. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that is like putting
yeah.
a bit of like you don't have the Latina aliveness here
Oh,
in that
the
way.
heat of the blood. Yeah.
So that's like and my roots are Hungarian.
Uh-huh.
So for me I don't I think it's more my inner development, like my psychological and spiritual development has taken me to a place of like living with awe
Mm,
and wonder
mm,
and also having that as a practice of actually when I'm doing my morning walk like slowing down
mm.
and actually paying attention to the mystery and the magic of being alive.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
not taking it for granted or thinking that you
yeah,
know already what it looks
yeah,
like or what it feels like or what it smells
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We went on a few walks together at Faye in the on the estate, and it was also beautiful to observe you and oh, you observed me as well as we were both silently witnessing and also being a part of what was unfolding as spring was also slowly beginning there, and it was still cold in the air, and there were patches of moss and dry leaves and um, bird sounds. It was pretty magical, I must say. You know, even though it's not an extraordinary place, it's not like the Himalayas, but it's extraordinary in itself because it was a part of being a part of nature. I found it really wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I agree with you.
Ah,
It's not extraordinary because
ah,
but there's also, I hear where you possibly are coming from, what lens you're looking at. Because yes, it's not the Himalaya, and it's like fabulous countryside French
yeah,
forest and
yeah,
fields, and that like it's like. Yeah, different flowers have different beauty. So I
exactly.
did feel it was an immense beauty of the old trees and the silence and the stillness and so
Yeah,
on. But
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And
yeah.
I'm wondering, you as a child growing up in Sweden, how did you tap into your inner aliveness, or how did you find your attunement? Some children have it already, naturally, or I think most children, maybe all children, maybe I should say all children, and we unlearn to listen to that. How do you feel like it went in your life?
Uh, I yeah, I was a wild child,
Mm,
and and a lot. I would say like a lot of force and aliveness, and like assertiveness, like directionality, willpower.
That
I
was
need
already there at a very early age.
yeah,
So the leader in
absolutely.
you was already present. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. And also, I had tons of curiosity, which still is one strength in me.
hmm
That and and I would say that around four, that was like quite a lot shut down. Of course, it was not fully like the connection was never fully broken,
mm
but it was quite shut down, and I stepped into becoming more of a sensitive, fragile, overwhelmed
mm
child
mm
that was pretty scared of
mm
life, and I have understood later that that was just a child with all what I was born into, also like a deep sensitivity and
mm.
receptivity,
Yeah.
but not enough holding in my environment.
Right.
And so that unfolded, and then after around six, I stepped into like a quite severe like protection armor
Mm,
mechanism of being the hyper independent, courageous, strong-willed,
mm,
and capable child.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah, high performative and a lot of control, and but looked very strong on
Yeah.
the outside.
So
And
people thought she's doing really well. Yeah.
sorry.
So people would around you would think she's doing really well.
Yes, yes. If they were not had a trained eye to
Yes.
see that
Yeah.
that kid was like a hyper independent kid
Mm,
surviving.
yeah.
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 And then that has been with me for a big part, and still are. It's still a part that lives within me. I'm just giving it less space.
Mm, yeah. So was there a moment in your life that you felt there was a tipping point or a turning point where you started to realize I need to become go back to my natural self, my intuitive self, and attuned, sensitive self?
There have been many turning points,
Mm.
and
Which one comes up for you now?
I could. The one that comes up now is like when I was 10,
Mhm.
I I could see clearly, as you mentioned before, like you have a lot of clarity and you give that to people. I could see clearly that what I came from, what was not what I wanted to pass forward,
Mm.
and it was not what I wanted to become.
Mhm.
That I saw clearly when I was 10,
Mm.
and uh, and I made myself a very strong promise as a 10-year-old,
Mm.
and that guided me for a very long time.
Mm.
It guided me for a very long time. That some of the violence that I came from, that I don't want to become more of, and I don't want to pass it forward.
Yeah.
That was a strong turning point for me.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
And what were sources for you to go to help you not become that or not
Mm.
pass that on, but to
Mm.
change that path?
Like in the start, as a 10-year-old, the sources was people that I admired or were inspired, like role models.
Mm.
Yeah. Like one of my role models was actually my babysitter that I had since I was like just a couple of weeks old.
Mm.
She was a friend of my parents, and she had a totally different way of being
Mm.
uh, when it came to the relationship between adult and children.
Oh
So
wow.
she had a mutual respect for me as I was equal.
Yeah.
So she was many years for me a role model, and that I I wanted to become her. So
Oh. Yeah.
I modeled her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can see that was like a part of, and still are, like that modeling from role models, being inspired by what I'm inspired to become.
Yeah.
That's one very concrete way.
Yeah.
Another very concrete way is like discerning, like develop my capacity for discernment.
Mm-hmm.
That also started very young, and that to say like what I think of myself, I will believe, and it will affect my inner state of being. Like
Yes.
because thoughts and feelings are affecting each other,
Yeah.
and so that was a source of
Yeah.
practice, and still
Yeah.
are. To
So becoming aware of this is what I think or what I say about myself. Is it actually true?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The starting point was to become aware of that I have thoughts and feelings. I
Mm,
am
yes.
not my thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there could start to be a gap, like a space of choice.
Right. Yeah.
So when I have this thought and when I have this feeling, I don't have to believe it. They're still valid and real, and it's not fully me.
Right. Yeah.
It's a part of. So like starting to like create space within that inner dialogue and
Mhm.
that turmoil of feelings, and like saying, hey, okay. And then like the source of understanding neuroscience, source of understanding like somatic, doing somatic practice,
Mhm.
deep trauma release.
Mm.
Um, but also for me, the last 10-ish years, 11 years, I also shifted for doing like a lot of trauma work. I also like, yeah, but I can also keep working on my traumas, and I will just keep working
Keep
on them,
recycling them.
recycling them.
Yeah.
And I also realized that I could also focusing on pleasure,
Yeah.
not as an escapism,
Yeah.
but as a technology for choosing to be in connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I am fully connected to my thoughts, feelings, and body, I have more capability of staying grounded even when there are surface layers of me who are in turmoil.
Hmm.
Um, and uh, and by choosing to focus on pleasure, I'm choosing to focus on what works
Hmm.
and what's make me alive,
Hmm.
and where I feel awe and wonder,
Yeah. Yeah.
and whatever pleasure intensity I can't hold, that then I will know I hit a new shame wall or a guilt wall, or I can notice there is something in my nervous system that can't hold this level of aliveness.
Hmm.
So what is that I need to tend to for now?
Right. Yes. So also this emergence again, what do I need to tend to?
Yeah,
I really love that question as well. Like every day you could ask yourself, what needs to be tended to? And the intendedness, there's tenderness in tending to. And also this way of leaning forward, leaning into that and being curious of it rather than tucking it away or leaving it behind you or putting it, like you said, escapism.
yeah.
Um, and a friend of mine calls it composting your traumas. So
Mm.
putting them into the ground and letting them do their underground work, and then using that soil as a leverage point for as actually a nurturing ground for new plants to emerge, new I guess new ideas to sprout, new ways of being.
Yeah, because there is also a risk. I can see that like on the in the conscious communities and in development. I can see there is like a couple of risks. There is a risk of becoming quite narcissistic, like
Yeah.
not as a diagnosed narcissistic, but like very self-centered, tending to my inner world.
Yes.
It's like
My needs, my
mine,
boundaries,
yeah,
my,
and it's like
trauma.
yes, and you are in relationship to the outer.
Yes.
So there is a growing up, there's absolutely a growing up work to do. Like if you look at adult development,
Mhm.
to allow small parts in me that didn't get met and allowing them, like parenting myself to them to grow up. But
Mhm.
then there is also a risk that people can get stuck in their stories
Yes.
because there is like you're feeding the story of your traumas, and that becomes a new personality.
Yeah.
So that this composting and saying, this is what I am. Like, because there is also quite a lot of people who do inner development, but from a mindset of performance and achievement.
Yeah.
And then there is like a luring trap of like, you believe that there is an end point. One
Mm.
day your trauma is going to be healed and you will be a new person.
It
And I'm like,
almost like wanting the enlightenment. You
yeah,
know.
exactly. And I'm open that there is possibly something that that the alignment exists.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it that much.
Mhm.
I've sniffed it,
Yeah.
but I have come because I've been there. I've also done these like traps and I have come to a place within myself where I've said, okay, maybe that will happen.
Hmm.
Most surely it will not. I keep our
Yeah.
door open,
Yeah.
but I have found a place that feels like right for me right now, and that is all these trauma edges that exist in me.
Hmm.
There will be most likely there for the rest of my life.
Mm, yeah.
What I can do is that I can bring more and more grace on how I navigate them,
Yeah.
like how I tend to parts in me, how I reparenting, but also like what is the life that I need to create for myself so I can be at ease with who I am.
Mm, yeah.
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 And in that, I can notice there is like an involvement that happens by itself,
Mm,
as like the flower is like growing. Like when you're on the journey, when you have done like a foundational work, like to allow yourself to go into rest and ease with saying, I trust life.
mm,
Like what next needs to be evolved in me. I will notice if I have developed the capacity to become self-aware.
hmm.
I can notice when contraction starts to happen.
Yeah.
I can see, oh, now I've been fighting with my daughter 3 times in a month. We almost never fight.
Mm.
What what's here?
What's beneath the surface? Yeah.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
it that wants to be seen?
Hmm.
So we can evolve into a next layer.
Yeah.
Like, what is the like recurring pattern of contraction that happens?
Mm,
Ah, I need to tend to this. It's like you have a garden and you have to like you have to tend to allow the flowers to like bloom.
yeah.
How do you say weed? No, what is it like the yeah the things you pick away in the
Yeah.
garden?
The weeding. It's called weeding. Yeah.
Weeding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I see it more like when my edges need weeding,
Hmm.
life will tell me. And if I'm just paying attention, I will see it and then I will go there. But
Yeah.
my main focus today, my source is like pleasure. Like
Mm.
how can I do practices that keeps me connected to awe and wonder, to the using pleasure as a technology and uh, and going where I feel alive.
Yeah. I love the opposition of pleasure and technology, which kind of attracted me to your training as well. I thought, wait, how does that work? It got me really confused. So when you say pleasure technology, is there anything to close this conversation? Is there anything you can give to the listeners to pique their curiosity for one, but also to give them a little more to work with when it comes to pleasure technology?
Like maybe the first perspective that comes up is that every every system is held together,
Hmm.
that we have a joint story that we tend to keep that system alive.
Hmm.
And right now I'm pointing towards like society.
Hmm.
It's a system.
Yeah.
So you and I are a product of modernity and postmodernity. We're a product of all the societies that have been before, but this is the latest one. And in modernity and postmodernity, one core truth that holds the story, so we can feed into that story, so we contain the system to be alive,
Hmm.
is lack and separation and control.
Mm.
So I believe that right now we are like in a systemic change. This society, the modernity and postmodernity, is on its way to decay. It's
Mm.
decaying.
Yeah.
uh, I don't know if we'll be in the next 5 years, next 30 years, but it's
Yeah.
happening.
It's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So and quite a lot of people right now are aware of that we have several part of the system that is failing or like collapsing slowly or faster.
Mhm.
And I don't believe we can build a new system, or I don't want to build a new system on the lack and control and separation.
Mhm.
So by using pleasure, when I am enjoying a good meal,
Mhm.
I feel myself more.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm more connected. I can
Yeah.
like I can say so. But if I am in a rush, if I am like in a fast pace, I disconnect a bit, and then I don't enjoy what I have around. I don't enjoy the fabric on my skin. I don't enjoy this conversation with you because I'm thinking about what's next.
Mhm.
I don't look and like allow my. I'm not allowing myself to catch glimmers. Glimmers
Mhm.
comes from. Um, um, oh, now my brain lost the word. Can you support me from?
Like um, glimmers of hope is something that people sometimes say, but I'm not
No,
sure what you're looking for.
I mean the theory of polyvagal theory.
Yes,
Sorry, there
that's
it
it.
comes.
Yes, it was on the
Yes.
tip of my
So
tongue
yeah,
too.
so like glimmer is a way of saying like you can catch triggers,
Yeah.
but you can also focusing not as a neglect to triggers. You will notice them that will they come, and especially if you're betrayed.
Mm.
But catching glimmers
Yeah.
is to like allow your whole being to be present
Mm.
to things that brings your nervous system into more rest and digest,
Yeah.
and allowing yourself to be that present so you can feel pleasure looking at the glare like the sun rays on the lake outside.
Yeah.
So and feeling like whew, how that gives me a sense of like relaxedness, sense of ease, like joy.
Yeah.
So I go having that like using as a pleasure technology
Yeah.
is to use the practice of catching glimmers, for example,
Right.
to
Yeah.
pay attention, to notice. And
Mm.
what happens there is that I actually become, and when I give myself what I need and I desire, and I put boundaries for what I don't want,
Mm.
I also put myself, my own state of being, my mindset in an abundant state
Yeah.
instead of a lack state.
Right. Yeah.
Being in stress, being in rush, being more in the sympathetic nervous system,
Yeah.
it
Survival
brings us,
mode. Yeah.
yeah, it brings us in survival mode.
Yeah.
Then I also will have actions that will recreate survival mode.
Yeah.
So if we will want to create a society of abundance and
Mm.
flourishment and a sense of interconnectedness and
Mhm.
wholeness, me being whole with myself
Mhm.
and with whole with others.
Mm.
So for me, pleasure as a technology takes us closer
Mhm.
to creating a future, a new system of wholeness and abundance and flourishment and
Mm.
connectedness.
And it has an amazing ripple effect even through a screen, because as you were looking at the window, you started radiating, your eyes were shining, your body moved more, and my smile was like too big for my face. So I love that this is so contagious, and I really so support this notion of allowing more pleasure in life and seeing where we tend to contract and allowing for spaciousness there so that we can have more enjoyment amidst all the turmoil. Because I believe if we share more of this glimmer, we will be more capable of dealing with the decay.
Yeah, and if the system as we know it is dying,
Yeah,
we we should really focus and go to where we're alive because
yeah,
that's where the new is.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pamela, for sharing your wisdom and insights and your personal journey. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Dorchas. Thank you for holding the conversation and sharing it with me. Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening to the Awecast today. My name is Dorchester Koning. I'm the founder of Awe Academy, a center for professional and personal development through training outdoors and with art. If you're interested to know more, look me up on aweacademy.live.